Welcome back to my channel and welcome to the next video in the series Too Young for Murder. Today's video is on Willard Noble Chaden Miller, who is from Iowa, and it occurred in the fall of 2021. Once again, if you enjoy my video, please feel free to subscribe, add a comment, or just like the video. That goes a long way in pushing my video out to a wider audience, and I very much appreciate it. In the fall of 2021, in the small city of Fairfield, Iowa, a beloved high school Spanish teacher named Nohema Graber disappeared during her daily walk through a local park. What police would uncover in the days that followed shocked not just the community, but the entire country. Two of her own students had planned and carried out her killing. One of them was 16-year-old Willard Noble Chaden Miller. And according to prosecutors, the motive was something few could imagine: a failed grade. Nohema Graber, 66, was a Spanish teacher at Fairfield High School, a role she had held since 2012. Born in Mexico, she had led an extraordinary life, working as a flight attendant and obtaining a commercial pilot's license before moving to the United States with her family. When her husband Paul became disabled, Nohema returned to school, earned her teaching degree, and dedicated herself to her students and the Fairfield community. She was a devoted mother and a member of her Catholic church and was described by family as warm, fearless, and full of love. She and Paul had 3 children: Christian, Jared, and Nohema Mary. In the fall semester of 2021, Miller was receiving a failing grade in Graber's Spanish class, an F. Miller began making what he called dark jokes to friends about killing Graber. Those jokes became a plan. Miller recruited his friend and fellow student, 16-year-old Jeremy Goodale, to help him. For approximately 2 weeks, the pair surveilled Graber to learn her daily routine. They observed that she regularly walked a trail through Chautauqua Park near the school in the afternoons. On his phone, investigators later found a note Miller had titled Prep. Miller also conducted searches on his phone, including queries about what happens to a student's grade when a teacher dies mid-course. On the afternoon of November 2nd, 2021, Nohema Graber arrived at Chautauqua Park for her walk and parked her van in a lot at approximately 4 p.m. Earlier that day, Miller and his mother had met with Graber at the school to discuss his grades. That afternoon at the park, Goodale's girlfriend, who had arranged to meet him there, later told investigators she saw Miller walk down the trail into the park, followed by Goodale, who then told her to leave. According to Goodale's later police interview, he was wearing a mask and stood near the trail as Graber approached. He pulled up his mask and smiled at her to reassure her, and at that moment, Miller came up behind her and struck her in the back of the head with a baseball bat. Graber was beaten to death. According to testimony, she died from blunt force trauma. After the attack, the 2 teens dragged her body off the trail, wrapped it in a tarp, and concealed it under a wheelbarrow and railroad ties in a wooded section of the park. Graber's van was then driven out of the parking lot and abandoned at the end of a dead-end road. That same evening, Graber's family reported her missing after she failed to come home. A community-wide search was launched. On November 3rd, 2021, her body was found in the Chautauqua Park, concealed exactly as described. The case broke open quickly. A teenager who knew both Miller and Goodale came forward with screenshots of snapshot messages from Goodale in which he described the attack and wrote that Graber had failed the wrong student. The messages included details about how the killing was carried out and how the body had been concealed. On the morning of November 4th, 2021, just 2 days after the murder, Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation agents arrived at Miller's home at approximately 5:30 a.m. and took him in for questioning. Also the same day, law enforcement arrested Goodale. During his initial police interview, Miller denied involvement, then changed his account, claiming he had witnessed a group of 6 or 8 masked men attack Graber in the park.
I wake you up, man? No.
Not quite a fool.
Hey, at least you're not doing some driving tests right now, right?
Well, it was my last one. I've been 16 since August 9th, and I have a car and everything, and I passed driver's ed back in June. The drives just keep on getting put off, so no, I was actually looking forward to finishing up, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
You know, it could be worse.
Like Vic introduced you, my name's John, so.
You in any college credit classes yet?
Starting next term. And last year I took public speaking, I took intro to computers and intro to business.
So pretty smart kid. What kind of grades do you get? Not in Spanish, the rest of them.
I average around B plus to B's. This year I've kind of been. I have problems with ambition and getting started.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm like, things are great after I get going. And freshman me was a lot better at getting started, so my GPA was better then.
Okay, but now you're getting B's, B plus.
Yeah.
Short of Spanish, there were some issues. Yeah. What were you getting in Spanish?
Oh, I wasn't doing great because, so I started the year like any other with open mind, ambition. I want to get the work done. I'm not like the kids. I don't see, how do people just sit in class on their phone and, like, they know that work's going to, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
Honestly, and it makes your life hell. And it really just fucks over your future, honestly. So, I start with ambition and I'm working, and it's like, the class, the way she teaches, it goes right over my head. The way I work, I relate things to pattern, and I review them over and over again. So I'm not bad at Spanish. Spanish 1, I got a B+, taught by Miss Ruby. She is great. She used technology. We would do Quizlets and review flashcards every day. Miss Graber's very old-fashioned. Hates technology.
Yeah.
Well, makes your life hell if she sees your phone. And she's not that great at English. So there's that. And she kind of just stands in front of the class and like talks about stuff, and then we'll give us worksheets. But I feel like the information has not been covered nearly enough for us. There's some kids like us can do it and learn better. There's this girl next to me who always seems to do fine, and she like never talks to anybody or anything. And Miss Gerber also assigns a ridiculous amount of homework with words that we've never studied, but it's like filling in the blanks and stuff. So it's not over those words necessarily, but you need to understand them to get the context of the sentence.
Yeah.
And I leaned over and I said, "How do you pass this class? What do you do?" And she says, "I go home and get on Google Translate."
Got it.
So, yeah, that's what I was doing for a bit. And then I just kept losing ambition, and she picks favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel good speaking Italy because she's literally missing. But I wasn't one of her favorites, I think. And she will prioritize her favorites, even though they're the ones that are usually doing the best in class.
Yeah.
And it's the way she teaches, it's not like to pass the class.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels very self-taught, and you're on your own. And just like when I'm trying to get help, it just doesn't work. So then I was just kind of like giving up, and my grade kept going down, and then things got weird. Like I left for like 3 days. I missed 3 days of school, and there was a test on one of those days in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And I came back, and she was talking about the next test that they were going to be taking that week. And I'm sitting at the front of the class, and so she's like, projecting onto the class, and I look up and I say, "Hey, I'm just taking the one that I missed on the day that they take their test, right?" And she goes, "Yeah." And so they had the test on this was Friday, I believe. And then in class I've been going over the material that I've missed, because even if I was here for it, I feel like I have to keep going over it. And I work, and I have a bunch of other classes to deal with at home, and it's just, I don't have much study time, and I struggle with procrastination. So the test comes around, and she hands me the test that the rest of the class is taking. And I say, "Whoa, this is not right. Aren't I supposed to be taking the other test?" And she does this thing where it's very hard to talk to her in class. She'll go, "Oh," and then she'll walk away. She'll literally walk away, and you can't talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at this test. There's no way I don't think I could answer 2 questions on it. And then she kind of was like, "Okay, so here's the other test." And she was like, basically, she wanted me to take both of them that day. And then I was looking at this test, and I was like, "This is bullshit. I can't do this." And then I walked to the principal's office, Mr. Stone, and I talked to him. And he's been well informed. Almost every generation of classes go down and try to get her fired or whatever. And so I just talked to him and told him everything that happened. It was pretty hard to take him seriously because he was in a big SpongeBob outfit for Halloween. But
so this is last Friday?
This is, yeah.
So this has just happened?
Yeah. And So then I talked to him about it, and he took a lot of notes. He's a very good principal. He knows how to relate to the kids. And so then that was that. And then yesterday, I went down to the office. I forget what period, but he was just checking in and asking like everything's going, and I explained how. So since she's not tech savvy at all, there's like you familiar with Canvas and things. So there's all the classes are up, and then you click on it, and there's all the information and everything. There's not even a Spanish class. And so I have all this missing work, and I don't know where to find. Like I don't have a textbook you don't take home. It's all in my textbook. So we had been emailing her to get all the assignments. She was telling us all the things that I had missing, and then we went in Tuesday and had a meeting with her just to get all the handouts and everything cleared up. That went pretty well. I showed her the work that I had done with. I got a tutor for Spanish, who's my friend's mom actually. She's from Guatemala. She's great. So I did homework with her, and she was in pretty disbelief. The stuff that Miss Grader was making us study, she was like, these verbs, you'll never use them when talking to somebody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that aside. So then, yeah, we went over the work. That day, I showed her, Ms. Grayberg, the work that I had done. And so she graded that and then gave me the rest of the assignments. And then I went to my mom's office with her after, and I did homework till about like 4:45, something like that. I don't wear my watch anymore, so I don't know exact times. And then I went home, ate some food, and went to my room and kept doing homework.
Okay.
And then she got back after walking the dog.
Okay. So what night was that you talked about doing homework and staying home and the dog and?
That was Tuesday.
Tuesday night. Okay.
That was Tuesday.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So I saw Miss Grayberg Tuesday at 1:15. And we left the school on 2:30.
Okay.
Who were you with when you saw her?
I was with my mom. She came in.
Yeah.
Tuesday, I slept in till like 12:40, and then just got up, did my morning routine, and then went to school to meet with Miss Graber
Okay.
at 1:15, and then whatever we needed to do, I already told you guys
So you guys are going over your Spanish homework. So you're there at 1:15 for meeting. Do you know about what time you leave there?
2:30.
2:30 is when you leave. Okay. And obviously, Miss Graber, do you see her leave with you guys at all, or is she still at school?
No, I know that the school has said that the last time they see her on the cameras is leaving at 4. I know that she leaves at 4. School gets out at 3:30. Teachers usually stay an extra half hour or however long for kids to come in and do work, or they'll, keep grading and do what they need to do. So, no, she leaves at 4.
So she's there at 2:30. You said the school says she leaves at 4.
Yeah.
So you guys leave. Where do you guys go?
To my mom's office.
Okay. Where's that at?
That's, she works at Centerville Insurance Advisory thing, on the corner of Low and we're pretty damn close. You know where the BP is across the street from everybody's?
In Centerville?
No.
So we're not from here, so it's pretty rare. So
I mean, you could just Google it real quick.
what's it called again? I'm sorry.
It's Center Point.
Center Point.
Yeah.
And it's like an insurance office.
It's like sustainable investing, and they're all about progressive. She works with her friend. He's her boss, Stuart Valentine. He's pretty great, and they manage a lot of money, and they're basically working towards people investing in renewable companies, like just progressive, moving into a new era. Because we need to.
Yeah. Okay, so you go to her office.
And
I hang out there.
Yeah, they have a nice conference room, so I just sit down with the big table and pull out all my stuff, lay it across, and just work.
Okay. And then do you know about what time you guys leave there? Do you leave there together?
No, I left first. I walked home around 4:45.
Okay.
And I went home and hung out for a little bit, and then went to my room and did more work. And then she came home when she got out of work. I think she walked the dog first. And then she came home, and I had a bit of a break, and then I did homework in the kitchen with her as she made dinner.
Okay.
And then I got a kid.
You know, Chayden, I'm going to be straight up with you, okay?
Okay.
So, you know, this investigation really got accelerated quickly for us, okay?
Okay.
Things came together pretty quickly, all right?
Oh.
And so what we discovered pretty early on when I got called, we were advised that, you know what, we have a missing person here who was kind of doing her routine and then never finished her routine of coming back home,
Okay.
right? And so Chayden, you know, when this type of thing happens, we bring in all the resources that we can. We bring in all the resources that we can. And, you know, it's difficult because when it's something like this, we try to make sense of something that doesn't make much sense, okay? And I'm not sure that what we're trying to figure out will ever quite make sense. And so, as you're probably aware, we did locate Miss Graber, and unfortunately she is deceased, okay? And it's become pretty clear to us that at this point you're not being very honest with me. And I think I know why you're not being completely honest with me. It's because you've done some things in the last 48 hours that maybe in hindsight you wish that you didn't do, okay? And, you know, by sitting down and talking to me...
It's news to me.
Okay, well, you know, this isn't the first interview that we've done, okay? We've talked to a lot of people. We've talked to Jeremy, okay? We've examined crime scenes. We've examined abandoned vehicles. We've taken the time to examine social media messages and whatnot. We've watched surveillance footage of the area around where Mrs. Graber was located. And as I mentioned before, it's very clear that what you were telling me before is not completely honest. I'm sure that you wish it was. I get that. In hindsight, we all make mistakes and do things that in the moment they may seem to make sense. But in hindsight, you think to yourself, boy, I wish that hadn't gone down the way that it did. So right now, what we need to do is kind of like the toothpaste out of the tube thing. You can't put it back in. Okay, all you can do is be honest about what actually did happen. And you understand that, right, Chayden?
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'd like to know is what happened to Miss Graber? Was this something that was planned out? Or was this something that was a very spontaneous thing that, in hindsight, you wish that maybe you didn't do?
I have absolutely nothing, no idea how she died. Who was I?
Okay.
I'm lost.
Okay. Chayden,
I did my homework
Chayden.
and everything because I want to.
I know. But Chayden, here's the thing is that as we're moving along very, very quickly, evidence is starting to mountain up, okay? We're beginning to get way past the who of this, and now we're trying to venture into the why, okay? And if this was a spontaneous thing that in hindsight you and Jeremy wish that you hadn't done, okay? And maybe things got out of hand, and once things started going, you couldn't step back. Okay, I understand that. I can't say that I agree with it, Jaden, but I understand it. Okay? But at this point, like I said, we're beyond the who. Okay? We're beyond that point. Okay? Now we're just wondering about the why. And what we haven't figured out yet, it's like we've got a line down a piece of paper, and we've got two theories. That this was an impromptu thing, that it's just like, oh fuck, this got out of hand, I was pissed, I was stressed, I shouldn't have done this, or was this something that was planned out with time to plan it based on her routine that you said that you kind of knew about? That's kind of what I want to know. Was this just something that you had planned, or was this something that was just impromptu?
I didn't plan or kill anybody.
Again, we're past that point, Jaden. We've talked to people that have put you there with them.
Who has put me there with them?
Okay. I'm not going to tell them the same things that I'm not going to go to them and tell things that you said. I want your version of the story, okay? I can tell you, Jaden, that at this point, we have talked to a lot of different people. And when you have a crime like this, okay, when you have an incident like this, we have a whole staff of people looking at a computer screen and going through surveillance footage and thinking like, okay, mark that down, okay? And then you bring in people and they sit down and they talk, and when their information doesn't quite line up with your information, then we start to wonder, okay, well, is Chaden the type of kid that would just do this in cold blood and then lie about it and protect himself? I don't know. Or is he the type of kid who would say to himself, all right, I made a mistake, I'm freaked out about it, but I can't go back on this. Okay? That's what I'm trying to figure out, okay? Because like I said, when you have these people that are just stacking up evidence after evidence and after evidence, and I'm not the only person here, and Dick isn't the only person that's here. We have a lot of people working on this because we want to make sense of it. And right now, when I get handed a piece of evidence and I read it, it's black and white. It's very, very cold, okay? It's not until somebody explains what this means and gives it some context that it gives it some color, some warmth, okay? So when I look at the crime scene out there, when I look at that scene where she is, okay, when I look at that scene, I think, boy, that's very, very cold. I can only imagine what led up to this. It's not until I get to sit down with someone like you or like Jeremy who can actually shed some light to what was going on inside your head in the days or the hours leading up to this. But only you can write that story. I can't do it. I can look at the black and white. I can look at the black and white and make assumptions. And I see you're nodding. You get what I'm saying. I can look at the black and white and make assumptions, but only you can explain to me what was going on, whether this was your idea or Jeremy's idea or just completely spontaneous. Only you can write that story. What I implore you to do, don't let somebody else write it for you. Because that story is already being written by some other people. That's why we want to give you the opportunity to have this conversation.
Okay. I know that something was going down that day, and it was very sketchy, and I'm very good with body language, and I knew that I did not want to be involved.
Okay.
And I got out of there as I want to completely disassociate myself from anything that would have happened.
You wanted to at that time?
Before anything happened,
Okay.
I said, I need to get out of here. If something goes down,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be involved at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I left, and I didn't assist with anything. I had no knowledge, but something was up, and
Because it sounds like you did have knowledge. Okay?
mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I know I've been in situations where
Now, this isn't body language.
Okay, got
Jaden,
it.
don't shortchange it now.
I'm not shortchanging anything.
Okay.
But I'm saying is that I've been in situations where I may not be involved, but I may be with the people that did it or whatever it was, and things go south very, very quickly as soon as officers show up and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that I could feel that this could be very easily be one of those situations.
Mm-hmm.
And so I left.
Okay, tell me about the situation that you're describing. And remember, and before you get started, just kind of remember what I just spent about 10 minutes explaining to you. Okay?
I was at Chautauqua with Jeremy, and I see Miss Graber's car pull up.
And this is yesterday. Or I'm sorry, 2 days ago, Tuesday night.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
And something didn't. I had some vibe, some prior something. Was gonna go down, and so I did.
Okay.
And I don't know anything past that point, other than the next day I see that she's not at school.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's back up a little bit. So, were you ever at your mom's work?
Yes.
Okay. When you went home, I assume you ran into Jeremy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about that discussion.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. I'll leave it open to you. Okay.
Okay. Conversations are very spontaneous with me and friends, so I can't remember what exactly. They can get interesting fast. But then we were walking down, and we went to Chautauqua, and I know that he was with his girlfriend, Zoe, and then we were hanging out for a little bit, and we were at the shelter that's, you can kind of see the parking lot, even though it's far off, you can see the parking lot.
Yeah. So you, Zoe, and Jeremy are at the shelter by the parking lot?
Not by the parking lot. But then Zoe has to leave, she leaves, and then she didn't seem right, and I see Miss Graber.
Don't glaze over that. What didn't seem right?
I had heard prior things from the past week about just a lot of people talking about Miss Graber, and just, I knew something. I bet that there were other people at the park posted up, I don't know, on the trail or what, and I had seen some teenagers when they were coming, like in the distance going down, and it was sketchy, and I see her, and I think something might go down. I need to disassociate myself, because I'm staying on the right track. I need to keep clean record. I'm getting all my grades in. I'm getting as much college credit in. I'm not trying to fuck this up by becoming a suspect because of me being by something that just happened and being a teenager. And so I left.
Okay. So what other teenagers did you see out there?
I couldn't see faces, and they were far away. I couldn't identify.
Okay. But you were with Zoe? And Jeremy?
Zoe left.
What did Jeremy have with him? What items did he have with him?
There was I think Zoe had a backpack that may have been his, or he was just wearing a coat, hat, gloves.
Did he have any items with him? Skateboard?
No.
Anything that could constitute a weapon?
Unless he had a hammer in his back pocket or something.
Okay. Did you?
No, I didn't have anything.
Did you have your backpack with you?
No, I left my backpack at my mom's.
You were walking with no phone? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
no phone?
My mom had my phone at the office. I left my backpack at her office. I said, "Do you want me to take this? Can you just take this home?" I took my laptop and the things that I needed. No, we didn't take my backpack there at all, I don't think. I just had like my loose books and folder and MacBook, and I took just the things I need for homework home, and I did that. Dude, you think I could? And
Jade, looking right now, I can tell that you have a lot of regrets about what happened. Okay, we can't change the past, and it's a bitter pill to swallow. But all we can do right now is just put it on the table, because right now, the case facts as they are, they're becoming more and more clear. And you said you didn't plan anything. Okay, well, version 1, version 2, let's make this the last version. The last final truthful version of this. Okay? I'm not bluffing you. I'm being 100% honest with you. Okay, like I said, we have a lot of people working on this. I can tell in your eyes that you have regrets. Okay? But lies and the falsehoods and half-truths don't show a person who's remorseful about what they did.
we were walking down the path, the road,
Mhm.
and there were other people.
Okay.
I'm telling you, This was not a one-person thing. There were 5, 6, 7 maybe.
Okay.
And I'm walking down, and then we get to there's another trail that heads off,
Mhm.
and there's a bench. And I sat and I said, "You think you're going? Because I can tell, you got someone's going." And so I shook him off, he kept walking, and then a few minutes later, I looked down, and I couldn't see who, there were multiple people around, and they were moving
Moving what?
a body,
Okay.
and I freaked out. I had a panic attack, and I ran.
Okay. Who are these other people?
I couldn't tell you, honestly. I couldn't see their faces. This was like,
It was
it
Zoe
was around
involved?
the corner. No, not that. She's pretty short. I didn't see a short person.
Okay.
It was far away.
Okay. What weapons did you see?
I didn't see weapons because
What motions did you see?
I didn't see motions. I just saw them moving something.
Okay. What verbiage did you hear about? Let's get this out on the table.
I was like,
No, not in the moment. But
okay.
you talked about, like, I didn't plan it. Okay? Just take a deep breath with me. Okay. You talked about you knew something was going down, your spider sense. You didn't want to be directly in it. You're just in the outskirts. Yeah.
This happened to me before with Sergio. I don't know if you know anything about that. It's happened before, and I hate it.
Mhm.
How easily people can be involved with something, or not involved, but totally like becoming involved with the resolution or the case
Mhm.
or whatever. I have seen it, and I've been in it,
Mhm.
and I knew this is out of my league.
Mhm.
This is worse than anything I've ever seen, dealt with.
Mhm.
I need to get out of here.
Okay. Okay. But you can understand where I'm coming from. When I have people who are saying you're in the middle and you're saying you're out here, you can understand why we've got to ask these difficult questions. Because you know and I know a life was lost. And I get it, you're scared. But now's a point where it's like, again, we're drawing a line down the middle of a piece of paper. And on top of that piece of paper on one side, it's those that are for Miss Graver and those that are against her. Those who are looking out for number one. Because I said before, when shit hits the fan, nobody knows what they're going to do. I know what they're going to do. They're going to head to their corner. And when they get there, they're going to start pointing fingers. They're going to say, it wasn't me. I was around, but it was Chayton, not me. Okay? So if in fact what you're saying is true, it's not quite enough. I don't buy that you didn't recognize people in that crew. Fairfield's a small town.
They were wearing masks
They were wearing masks.
and hats, and some were wearing glasses. They did not want to be recognized.
Okay.
The point is valid. It's very easy to recognize people. Sometimes you don't know names, but you know faces.
Mm-hmm. How many are we talking?
They were overlaid, so like 8, I would say.
8 people.
6 to 8 people.
6 to 8 people. Okay. I imagine through previous conversations with Jeremy, you know at least the names of a few of them. And do you think that Jeremy's going to tell me that? That you don't know anybody else involved and that you were just sitting on the sidelines? You know how valuable these things are, right?
Mm-hmm. There's kind of that he may have.
What do you mean may have?
I don't know anybody straight up that confirmed, because after the event there was no information disclosed. Nobody was wanting to give any names or anything. All I know is that all I can know is people that were discussing it beforehand or just talking
Well,
about
let's talk about who was discussing it beforehand.
at school. I heard
You said Blake Zaborski?
Spassky, his mom's a sheriff.
Okay.
There's two twins. What are the names?
What's his mom's name?
I don't know.
Okay, but she's a sheriff in this county.
I don't know him well enough.
So he was one of the ones talking about it at school, about setting up. I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but you're saying that there was verbal plans at school about attacking her on her normal route and killing her.
Jokes, mainly, but I don't know, because what people can do is joke about something, but they're making real plans. And when you're in a room where there's people talking and you can hear things, you can eavesdrop, like you can focus your attention on things. I can't be 100%, I have a hunch. But,
so let's just start with people that were talking about it. Blake was talking about it, who else?
uh-huh.
And when you say Blake, what kind of things was he joking about? Like what did you overhear him saying?
Talking about how she walks, she'll talk about every day.
Okay. And how far back was that he was saying that?
2 weeks.
Okay. And who was he saying it to?
They're Ben, I think. What's his last name? I can check Instagram. The twins, their names are I want to say like right. I seriously can't think. They're the only male twins I think at the school, so it shouldn't be hard.
Okay.
They
were talking about it as well with Blake and Ben?
Not with Ben. Not with Ben, no, but it's like at lunch, people are all in the vicinity of everyone, and it's to say someone's talking to is one thing. There were some girls, too.
Okay.
I don't know their names.
Who do they date?
What?
Who do they date?
What do you think? I know that like there were 3 to 5 girls I'd say talking to, and I think the majority of them are single. I don't know everyone's boyfriend. I may know both people, but I may not know that they're dating necessarily. So I don't want to.
Do you think what happened to Miss Garber was right?
No.
Okay. If somebody really hated your mom and they planned out something like this, I bet you'd hope somebody that's in your position right now would remember those names. Because right now I'm getting kind of fucking frustrated.
When I get nervous, I forget names, too. I blank on things.
Okay.
It,
You understand where I'm coming from,
yeah,
right?
it's a one. I know the twins. It's a one syllable. It's.
We'll figure that out. Who are the girls?
Miriam is the name of one of them.
Miriam.
Marianne.
Marianne.
Caitlin.
What's Caitlin's last name?
I don't know.
Okay.
Honestly, I do not know.
Does she date anybody you know?
No. I'm pretty sure she's single. Yeah, she's single.
Okay. Tell me this. You said they were all wearing masks. What kind of masks were they wearing?
They're wearing, some of them were just pull up like handkerchiefs.
Like up over the face?
I saw, I think, like one surgical mask, like a, COVID mask. Just a black, it looked like. Have you been to Chautauqua?
Mm-hmm.
So, there's the way that says, do not enter.
Okay.
And then, there's the other way. So I stopped around at the back here. So there's a straightaway, and then there's a little turn.
Okay.
That goes, that little left turn, and then it goes right up. And you see the parking lot and the park and everything. So if I'm here, that little left turn thingy, I couldn't see much from over there except for when they moved into the woods. And then I went to the left and went up and got on the highway and ran.
Okay.
Walked all the way back.
Back up for a second.
Sure.
Back up. So you said that, were you sitting on a bench when you saw them moving the body?
No, I was leaning against the sign.
Okay,
the map sign.
The map sign. You were leaning against the map sign, and you said that about how far away were they from you as they were moving the body?
I don't know how far like close to a quarter of a mile.
Oh, that far.
Probably. It's pretty damn far.
Okay.
It's like.
So after you saw them moving the body, what did you think? What did you do next?
I freaked out. I felt my face go.
I mean, did you wait for Jeremy to come back, or?
Hell no.
Okay.
Hell no.
Did you go home, or what did you do?
Yeah, I went home. I went straight home.
You didn't reconvene with anybody there?
No, I needed out. No.
Okay. And nobody's gonna tell me otherwise, right?
If they do, they're lying. I left. No. I said that's enough for today. I don't do well with that stuff at all.
Yeah. What did people like Jeremy talk about was the plan once they got, once they located her on her routine walk?
I heard some things talking about they could do framed suicide because the train tracks are right there. I don't know what the plan was besides probably to either knock her out and move her and then finish the job.
How are they going to finish the job?
Well, it's probably whatever they knocked her out with.
How do you know they knocked her out?
Because she was not resistant. They were just dragging. And there were
people but you could stab somebody and not knock her out. So how did you know they knocked her out?
Yeah, there's that. I didn't say I knew that they knocked her out. I said they could knock her out and move her.
Okay, did you hear something from this group indicating that they were planning on knocking her out?
Did I say that again?
Did you hear, did you hear anything from anybody indicating that the plan was to actually knock her out as opposed to something else?
Mm-hmm.
And what was that? What was that plan that you heard?
All I heard was, we could knock her out and move her off. We could put her on the train tracks.
I see. So knock her out and then stage it like a suicide, like she got run over by the tracks or wanted to get run over by the tracks?
Sure.
Okay. And then you mentioned finish the job. By finish the job, are you referring to moving her onto the tracks, or?
No, I'm saying because that's a public trail. You're not gonna.
You only got so much time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. They probably demobilized her quickly to when nobody was around.
Mm-hmm.
Got her off, and then did whatever they need to do.
Okay. Okay.
In order to not be seen.
Right. Have you had communication with Jeremy or anybody as a part of this group since then?
Mm-hmm.
And have you discussed it?
I told them, this is fucked. You're
Okay.
fucked.
You just mentioned you told them. So who else did you tell besides Jeremy?
No, I didn't directly tell anybody else. I said, I said, this is implying you tell your people or whoever. This is beyond right.
And did you tell that to who?
Jeremy.
Jeremy. Okay. When did you tell him that?
Yesterday.
And how did you tell him?
I texted him.
On Snap?
Mm-hmm. I think we in a photo.
Okay. In a photo you told
You can take a photo and then you type
in like, this is fucked. What you guys did was fucked. Is that what you're saying? Okay. And if I was to take a look on there, I'd see it.
No, because Snapchat, the messages disappear after
Not all
they're
of them.
opened.
Not all of them.
Okay.
But that should be on there?
There's nothing saved.
Okay. If I was to take Jeremy's phone, may I see that? Or if I was to write a search warrant for Snapchat after I did a preservation request? You're saying...
because you get a notification if somebody saves it in chat or anything.
Okay.
Nothing was saved in chat.
Well, what I'm saying is Snapchat can preserve that. And what I'm asking you is if I go to Snapchat, because we've already had communications with them,
Okay.
there's going to be evidence that that message was sent where you said this is fucked. Or words to that effect.
Sure.
And it was only to Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was via Snap and not text message or WhatsApp or anything like that. Okay. Did you communicate with anybody else about it besides Jeremy?
No, because I could stay completely unknown, anonymous. I didn't want anybody to know that I played dumb at school.
What, where did you link up with Jeremy? Was it truly,
Yes.
did you make plans or did you just
No.
happen upon him?
No, I saw him.
You just happened upon him. And what made you guys go out?
I had to stop by. I said, okay, I'll walk with you.
Okay. And Zoe was with him?
Not when I saw him, but she was at Chautauqua.
She was at Chautauqua. Okay. Okay.
And I don't think...
And once you got to Chautauqua, in what setting did you see her?
Who, Zoe?
Yeah.
She was at the shelter.
She was at the shelter. So you, Jeremy, Zoe at the shelter. Who else was at the shelter?
Nobody else.
Just you three.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see her pull up, and you're getting a spidey sense that like something bad's about to go down. What is it about their behavior that makes you think like, fuck, this is not good?
I saw other people, and he noticed and looked like on the ready, and he pulled out his phone.
Okay. And was he sending a message out to them like, hey, she's arrived?
I didn't see his phone.
It appeared like he was coordinating something, would you say? Or at least it appeared that way?
It could have been perceived that way. It didn't look that desperate, like,
yeah.
typing out real quick.
Right.
He just pulled it out. And
okay. And then she gets out and starts walking. Does he start to follow her?
no, he didn't start to follow her. I did.
You started to follow her?
Yes, because I said something was happening. So I let her walk a bit. I got on the trail, was walking down, stopped. She obviously kept walking, and then I was waiting there, saw that, had a panic attack. I felt, is that adrenaline that hits you when you just feel your face get washed?
Yeah.
And I was like, my hands got all sweaty, and I kept trembling.
What were you planning on doing by following her?
By following her, to disassociate myself. I wasn't stalking or following her.
Yeah, but I mean, to disassociate yourself, shouldn't you have gone in the opposite direction?
Leave, yeah, but I didn't know what these guys were posted up for. I was thinking maybe this was planned for me.
Like they were going to attack you? Why would you say that?
Because sketchy stuff like that happens, and there's very easily miscommunication in the amount of shit that people can do absolutely and say, oh, this person did this, and everyone freaks out and will do everything they can to like get that done or whatever. And I said, okay, I'm just gonna walk on the path like a normal person. I'm just walking, and I was looking like hoping maybe some strangers would be around, you know, so that way nothing would happen. And I was walking, and then I started to get it I started walking slower, you know, to try and like look and see like what's going on. And then I got down there, and then I saw, and then I left.
And you said you saw a group, 6 to 8 people wearing masks, carrying her.
They weren't carrying.
Dragging?
There was like a huddle, and they were moving.
Okay.
And the thing is, Jeremy's tall, he's like 6'2", and he's got the poofy blonde hair. I didn't see a 6'2" person unless he was hunched over and like in the back.
So you're thinking he could have been the lookout or something? Or the coordinator of it?
A lookout would be, I think, reasonable to say, because that's like, yeah.
Did you wind up going back out the same way you came?
Rather than going straight out the street that goes in front of the high school, I took it's Burlington. I went across, because the street goes right there.
Right.
Got on that, and then walked.
Okay.
And turned on the square.
Okay. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to be honest with you, your credibility is not great. Okay, based on the last couple hours, your credibility is not great based on version 1, version 2, and version 3, now version 4. Okay? We can agree on that. But what I like is that this version be the honest and truthful version. And are you telling me that this is the...
This is what happened.
Okay. Okay. So, as you can imagine, knowing what we know now, and examining what we're examining now, there's going to be a lot of time spent on her, physically, the things that are around her, where she's at. Our crime scene team is already out there, you know, digging through the leaves and picking up little pieces of evidence. The vehicle's been found, so we're going to be going through that. So is there any chance, because the last thing that I want is for 2 weeks from now to get a lab report on DNA located at the scene or in the car, the van, or anything like that comes back to you.
You don't think it would have been possible for me to rub off on Jeremy?
No.
How so?
No. Transfer DNA doesn't work like that in the elements.
Like if my hair got on him, something like that, skin.
So you're saying that are you saying that we are gonna find your DNA?
I'm saying it's something, I'm asking, is this possible? Because it's very possible that me being with Jeremy.
Okay. I'm talking about like if I go like that, or if I grab your wrist like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I take a swab and I swab your wrist like that, I'm going to find your DNA and I'm going to find my DNA. Okay? If I look at the items that are around her at that scene and I swab that head to you know, from front to back, and I put alternate lighting on it so it pops out when there's foreign DNA, is there any chance that your DNA is going to be closer to the scene than what you just described?
They used my wheelbarrow.
They used your wheelbarrow.
And we've had for years.
And how did that happen?
Because they needed a wheelbarrow.
Okay.
And I felt cornered.
When did you provide them the wheelbarrow?
I didn't directly provide them. I said I have one at my house by my shed. You can grab it if you want. I'm not getting it.
Okay. When was that? When they said they needed a wheelbarrow?
That was the weekend.
Okay. And who asked for it?
It was at lunch, so there was a few of them.
You mentioned the weekend, though.
Yeah,
that's when they got it.
When they got it.
But last week during the lunch, they said we need
Friday or Thursday.
Okay.
They were talking about, it was like kind of a lunch table that was just projected at me that wheelbarrow. It was the twins, Jeremy and I said, yeah, I have one.
The
I said
twins
it.
and Jeremy brought up
I
to you that
said-
they needed a wheelbarrow.
I said, it's rusted out in the middle. So whenever you're carrying up, like, you can't put a lot of weight in it or, like, brakes, that wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked what for. They were very indirect, and it was weird. That's another reason why my spider senses became, because I remember asking for a fucking wheelbarrow.
Did you, when you saw them moving the body, were they using the wheelbarrow?
No.
Okay. It was just dragging and...
It was a huddle.
Okay. Then they came and got it over the weekend?
Yeah.
Who came and got it?
I don't know.
Were you not home at the time, or
I don't know if I was home or not. I don't know. I just saw that it was gone.
all of a sudden it was gone? When did you notice it was gone?
That would have been Sunday.
Okay.
Because the kitchen window looks out at the shed, and there's a blue and red wheelbarrow, and they took the red one.
There's a blue wheelbarrow, and there's a red one, and they took the red one.
The red one was missing.
The red one is missing. Okay. And that belongs to you and your mom?
Yeah.
You and your mom and dad?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But it's gone.
And so were the work gloves inside of it, which are the work gloves that I use. They're black EcoFlow gloves that I've used for a while.
Do you have surveillance at your house?
No.
Did you tell anybody else about them wanting your gloves?
No, I
I'm sorry, not your gloves, but your wheelbarrow?
What do you mean telling them anything else?
Did you tell anyone else? That these guys came and stole your wheelbarrow?
Well, steal, I
You
could borrow
You
it.
gave them permission. Did your folks ever ask about it?
No, because it's a shitty wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
And my mom wouldn't
Easy to miss.
care.
Okay. And they never noticed that it was missing?
My mom never said anything, surprisingly.
Okay.
My dad doesn't live with us.
Got it.
Across the street.
Okay. All right. Anything else we're going to find out there that you want to get out in the open now?
Is there any witness protection?
Well, I'll say this. We are very discretionary on how and when information is revealed. But as importantly, like I said, people are going to be pointing fingers at you. Okay, your wheelbarrow's there. Your gloves are there.
My gloves are there.
Well, you said.
They were in the wheelbarrow.
Yeah, you said, right?
The gloves are gone.
The gloves are
my house.
gone.
I don't know what.
But if they're there on scene,
I'm telling you though that if I were to wear gloves and be that involved and was involved with the process of moving her, I would not leave my gloves.
people make mistakes.
Sure.
But you're saying that didn't happen, right?
I was not involved. I didn't come in contact with it. I didn't know.
Okay.
Didn't even know.
And no, I mean, again, sitting down with sitting down with Jeremy or the twins or the girls, nobody's going to put a weapon in your hand. And nobody's going to put you right in the middle of things.
In the middle?
And show, and be like, hell yeah, not only that, but he was there, he helped move the body, scared or not, he helped move the body.
I didn't help move the body.
And no information that I'm going to reveal, because you understand where that takes us. I feel like we're having a good communication right here, but you understand that I could get a lab report and be like, well, I thought he was being honest with me. Guess not. That's why I want this to be the last version.
Okay.
Okay? And it took a little bit of prodding to even get the wheelbarrow story. So what else am I not asking about that's on your mind?
If you sneeze in the vicinity of somebody and you're so, like, would that...
I think if I sneeze on your shirt, yeah.
And if you're...
If I spit on your shirt,
off,
yeah. If I spit on your shirt, yeah.
and didn't sneeze when I was with him.
I'm just talking about you physically present near the body. What is the closest distance that you got from her body? Ever?
Probably.
I mean, I take that back. Not ever. Post-mortem. Once she's dead, what's the closest you got to her?
I don't know if she was dead then, but the closest I would have been was however the distance is from the map sign to way at the end of that corner.
Okay. So you were, when you saw them move her,
I couldn't really see the body, but I could tell that they were dragging something. I saw snippets between their legs.
Yeah.
There was something.
did you hear noises?
I heard a thud.
Thud? How many?
I didn't stick around. Whether it was her body falling or something hitting her, I heard one.
Okay. Did you hear anybody yell anything like, fuck you bitch, or take that bitch, or anything like that? Didn't hear, just a big thud.
Yeah, and
Okay.
wouldn't it be a bad idea to yell that if you're at a public park?
I think this whole thing was a bad idea.
Valid.
Okay. Tell you what, you need some water? You need to take a break? Bathroom?
No.
Okay. Tell you what, do me a favor. Sit tight here. I'm going to run a couple things past the guys that I'm working with.
Okay.
You sure you don't need anything? We got food, we got water, coffee.
Coffee would be nice.
Coffee be okay? All right. Very good. I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
You all right?
Good.
Not as good as I'm sure you wish you were. Okay. So, a couple things came up. You talked about Instagram. Like you could find out Ben's name through Instagram.
Ben's last name.
Ben's last name through Instagram. Okay.
The twins, I don't know if they have an Instagram account. I thought I would have seen it by now.
So just through the integrity of, you know, not that I don't trust you at this point, but it's like we can't manipulate shit, so,
You want me to do it in front of you?
if you wouldn't mind. I don't even know how to get the passcode on this.
Ben's.
You mind if I just look at it? Sure. Thank you. Is that his last name, as far as you know?
Yeah.
And then, just in case I need to look back through here, what's your passcode?
It's 293855.
293855. Can you just show me nice and slow, just so I can see that it works? 293855. Perfect. Thanks. All right, let's put this over here, if you don't mind. Thank you. Is this your driver's license?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna take this out and make sure you have that, 'cause in case.
You can just throw that case out.
There you go. Okay, so a couple things came up. We talked about DNA at the scene with the wheelbarrow, potentially the gloves, right? Depending on what's found out there. What about the car, the van? Were you ever in her car?
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, you were in her car.
I moved posters for her.
You moved posters for her?
Uh-huh. She had a bunch of Spanish posters that she wanted in or out of her room. It didn't look like anything new was in her room, so I don't know what she was doing.
Okay.
And I was in back and front seat of the car for that.
Okay. Was she in the car with you at that time?
Yeah, she was with me. We didn't like drive anywhere or anything.
Okay.
It was just her car was parked there.
Have you been in that car in the last 48 hours?
Mm-mm.
You seemed a little bit hesitant there.
Yeah,
So were you or weren't you?
I wasn't.
Did you help move it? Did you help move it or get rid of it or hide it after the fact? Whether it's against your will or...
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Did you drive?
No.
You didn't drive?
No.
You in the passenger seat?
I wasn't in the car. I pushed it.
Pushed it down, yeah. Pushed it off to where it landed?
Yeah.
Okay. You were in the rear pushing it?
Mm-hmm.
Who was in the driver's seat?
One of them with the mask.
Okay.
I don't even know if I know them because I didn't recognize their voice.
Okay. You mentioned that Dill is one of your best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason why he would have said that recently you had a conversation with him where you said if she winds up missing or dead, it's you?
It's you?
It's you.
I would never say that to Bill because I know that he has a tendency to freak out. We had been joking about it for 2-3 weeks because of the way Spanish was going. And so I got with him and I said, oh, she was missing. So this was before I knew that people were actually planning some shit.
When did you say it then?
3 weeks ago.
2-3 weeks ago you said that?
Mm-hmm. And I didn't say it was me.
What'd you say?
I said, I joked and said, don't be surprised. Because she also has the wanted dead or alive posters, I think, in her room for herself, for some project that she did way back when. And I was referring to those two.
So you're saying that when you made a comment to the effect of, it was in jest because of difficulties in Spanish class? Okay. And so if he took it, in hindsight, as being something more than that's on him, not you?
I'm thinking I made it pretty clear that I was jesting, and I had no prior knowledge that people were actually planning on doing shit, and if I did, I would have never said that, because I wouldn't want anybody suspecting me. I'm not that stupid. And so, now that this has actually happened, now it could have been taken as, oh, it wasn't lying. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Still, no. I was planning on doing something to somebody, he would be the last person I would tell beforehand.
Okay. So, let me give you a bit of for 4 hours now.
Okay.
I've met with him. I'm not going to share exactly what he said specifically,
Okay.
but he's here. He has been subject to a search warrant. His house has been subject to a search warrant. His person has been subject to a search warrant.
Okay.
Okay? We also have a search warrant for this and for your residence, which is going on as we speak.
Okay.
So, as we go through that residence, are we going to find evidence of Miss Graber inside your residence?
Evidence of Miss Grayberg inside of my residence? Nope.
To be clear, are we going to find her blood on your clothes?
Blood on my clothes? No.
Think hard.
What?
Think hard. Took us a while to get to the wheelbarrow. Took us a while to get your DNA in the car when you helped push it down to where it landed. So, as investigators, as we speak right now, we're going through your residence. Are they going to find her DNA in your house? And if so, what is the explanation for that?
Not unless they use my trash can to throw something out.
Why would they use your
Outside.
trash can?
Because if you were to throw out evidence, you would go to a random. I feel like you wouldn't throw it out
Right.
at your house.
Did they use your trash
Not that
can?
I know of.
Okay, so you're saying that you have no explanation. If we find a pair of your jeans in your room and it's got a blood smear on it, you have no explanation as to why that would have happened. Or your pants, I'm sorry.
Not unless there was blood on somebody that had touched me.
Okay. So as I mentioned, we have a search warrant for that. We're going to be collecting that. We have this technology called Cellbrite, which is it's a computer software where you plug in the phone. It basically takes a snapshot of everything on the phone. It puts it on the computer. We have a search warrant to conduct that sort of examination on your phone.
Okay.
Are there things that you're concerned about on that phone that when we look at it without some context, we could take the wrong way?
My phone was used to talk. One of the twins borrowed it at school yesterday.
So one of the twins borrowed your phone?
He said, "Can I send a message to Jeremy?" And I said, "Okay. What do you need me to tell him something?" He said, "No, I'll just talk to him." And so I don't know what he sent because you can't see it after Snapchat. After the message is opened, unless you or the other person saves it.
Right. So you're saying that yesterday at school, one of the twins who you don't know the name of came to you and said, "I need to use your phone to send a snap."
No, he didn't come to me. We were sitting at the lunch table. He said, "Hey, can I use your
phone to communicate something?
Right, even though I'm pretty sure that he always has his phone on him. I said, "Where's yours?" He said, "Bed."
Okay. So you're saying that if we find evidence, whether it be through this phone or through Snapchat itself, like the actual company Snapchat at their headquarters, of a message around lunch hour yesterday that was sent from this phone to Jeremy, it wasn't you sending it, it was one of the twins?
I don't think, no, I wasn't texting him at lunch, so it would have been.
It was somebody else using your device at lunch?
Right.
Okay.
But it was only yesterday that my phone was borrowed.
Okay. And I'm fairly certain that the school has surveillance.
Yes.
Especially in the lunchroom. Will it show you sitting next to a twin and doing a handoff?
No, because we were by the library. The door was open.
Mm-hmm. And who else was at the table at this time?
I wasn't sitting at the table, but there was, I don't know who, just the regular clique.
Okay. And you don't know this twin's name that asked you?
No, I do know his name. I can't think of it. It's, Caden, because both of their names are similar. It's like, I want to say Tate or Caden or a cross between them. It's, fuck. I know his name. Another name, Keaton.
Keaton?
York.
Keaton York? And what's significant about Keaton York?
I'm remembering he was talking about plans too at school. I overheard.
What kind of plans was he talking about?
Just kind of thought they were jokes or for real. Talking about newspaper. And I kind of make out significant words such as, like how they would do it or weapons or anything. I just know that he was talking about it. I caught snippets. It was like eavesdropped, but it was
But you don't remember specifically what he was saying?
No, just, that's how it is a lot of the time at school. You hear people talking about stuff and you can get the gist, but unless you focus in on keywords or anything, you just, and based on memory, I just know that he was talking about it.
Okay. And when was that?
Last week, probably midweek.
And who does he hang out with?
He hangs out with Ben. And Blake. Previous name I gave you.
Mm-hmm.
Blake Savosky.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Marcellus.
Aaron as in a boy or Aaron as in a girl?
Boy.
So A-A-R-O-N. Marcellus?
Mm-hmm. M-E-R-C-E-L-L-U-S. Something like that.
Aaron go to Fairfield?
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet he wasn't involved because he freaks out so much for the littlest things. I mean, who knows, like you were saying, before shit hits the fan. But he's just one of the people that Keaton's always hanging out with. Well, Keaton also hangs out with the twins.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, did I not bring that in? Tell you what, stand by, I'll be right back.
Why did I? If only I stayed home.
So we got a map.
Yep.
Okay. So,
This is the corner. And I was talking about, and see, visibility is limited here because it turns in.
yeah. So if you're standing right here, you can't really see great until you come around the corner.
This is where they were. I'm down here. This is the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
The shelter that we were at is like somewhere around here. And then I walked down along here, and then I stopped. Yeah, because this is the other trail. The map is like here, and so they're this far away. That's why I'm saying I couldn't really see shit.
All the way down there.
Yeah.
So like that's 200 feet, so we're talking 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. I mean, that's, yeah, a quarter of a mile or so. But you're saying that they were all the way down there doing their thing and you were only right here. You were never up here.
I was here.
Mm-hmm.
And then to leave, I went back here. Because I lost my shit. I went here. And then just to Burlington.
Okay.
Back home. And then I got a message on Instagram since I didn't have my phone. I was telling people you can just, you can use my burner Instagram account, and to talk to me because it works on my computer.
Okay.
And so when I got home, I opened it. They were offering $35 just to help push the car.
Okay. Did you get paid?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you got home. Did you tell them beforehand that they could reach out to you on Instagram?
Well, yeah, Jeremy knew. I posted it, I think, on my story before I got.
What did you post on your story?
I said I'm gonna be off Snap for a few days.
Oh, I see.
And hit me up on Instagram.
Okay. So you got home, you got on your computer, were you expecting communication?
I got on my computer to do homework.
So wait a minute, you just witnessed a murder and you went home and did homework?
I went home to resume, so that way when my mom got home, everything would look as normal as possible, because they said she would be home very soon. That's why I didn't want to go back out, and then they said, we'll give you $35. And so I hurried out there real quick, did what I needed to do, and
Who paid you the $35?
one of the, band, I want to say, I think.
Sheriff's Office Deputy Line, Sheriff's Office Deputy Line.
And the key got stuck in the ignition after it had been rolled off and it wasn't coming out. And each of us were trying to get it out, and since
So you just touched
I
the key?
had, so yeah, we were trying, and then the lanyard broke. And so they just threw the lanyard.
Okay. So you were inside the vehicle?
I wasn't
trying to get-
inside, the door was open and I was pulling.
Well, you were inside trying to get it
Sure.
out. Okay.
So.
Okay.
You should find. It was just beautiful like this.
And it was $35?
Mm-hmm.
Do you still have the $35?
Yep.
Is it at home?
Yep.
It's not here? Okay.
Sure.
Okay. What's your burner account?
It's.
I need to see you.
Okay. Okay.
I forget the username, but it's just like there's nothing on it at all. There's no profile picture or anything. It's by like XXZ some.
Yeah. We'll get that in a second. Okay. So, looks like we're done. Your folks are here, and they've indicated that they don't really want you talking to me anymore.
Okay.
Okay. That being said, that's fine. I'm done. But you're being detained for the time being. We have a search warrant, like I said, for your phone, your residence. I believe we also have a search warrant to take a few photographs of you, and then also take a look at your hands and whatnot.
Okay.
Okay. So if you don't mind, if you wouldn't mind just putting your hands right on your lap like this. Okay. All right. We'll see what we can do about that. So we'll get back with you in a second. But for the time being, just sit tight, okay? Do you have any questions for me?
When will you be done with my phone?
It could be a while. I mean, depending on how long things last, it could be a while.
Okay. How long will I be chilling here?
Don't know. That's not my call.
Okay.
Do you need anything?
Should have been homeschooled. Fuck.
Hang tight. You said you do not want this?
I can talk it.
Okay. Very good.
You know how that broke? It wasn't dropping it or anything. It was doing what you did.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Line one, please.
I guess I'll take another bottle of water.
Yeah, I can okay for that.
What time is it?
It is 9 o'clock in the a.m. Be right back with you. You said bottle of water?
Sure.
The story fell apart under scrutiny. A search warrant executed on Miller's phone uncovered the prep supply list and messages implicating him. Both teens were arrested and charged as adults with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit a forcible felony. The defenses attempted to have their cases moved to juvenile court, But in May 2022, Judge Sean Showers rejected those requests, ruling that both teens would remain in adult court. The cases were later severed, and in March 2023, prosecutors announced that Goodale had agreed to turn state evidence, meaning he would testify against Miller. Just days before Miller's scheduled trial in April 2023, however, Miller chose to plead guilty to first-degree murder. Goodale also entered a separate guilty plea to first-degree murder in April 2023. The sentencing hearing for Miller on July 6, 2023 lasted approximately 7 hours. Graber's husband, Paul, who had intended to deliver his own statement, had died of cancer just 8 days earlier, on June 29. Miller addressed the court and apologized to the Graber family, to his own family, and to the Fairfield community. However, family members expressed disbelief at what they described as a lack of genuine remorse. Judge Sean Showers sentenced Miller to life in prison with the possibility of parole after serving a mandatory minimum of 35 years. Jeremy Goodale was sentenced on November 15, 2023 to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Nohema Graber dedicated her life to her student, her family, and her community. Her children and extended family continue to carry her memory. The case stands as a reminder that warning signs, however unbelievable they may seem, deserve to be taken seriously. Willard Noble Chaden Miller will not be eligible for parole until he is in his 50s. Whether he will ever be released remains to be determined by a future parole board. For now, justice has been served for Nohema Graber. Thanks again for watching my video, and look forward to the next video in my series, Too Young for Murder.